Hello and welcome to another recap. This time a club game that I played during the week this week. I was playing for my chess team, Spalding Chess Club. I'm repping the merchandise as we speak. We were playing away to Peterborough, and I was on board three playing a nice man called Kev Johns. I'd never heard of him before, so I had no preparation on him. And yeah, I played e4. He plays the Caro-Kann. We go down the main line, and then he plays knight to f6, the Tartakower variation. I'm familiar with this. I take, play c3, then I go bishop to d3. And normally what we'll get is they'll castle, I'll go queen to c2, threatening this pawn. They'll normally throw a check in. The knight comes to e2. They'll normally block my battery off, and then I'll start to, sorry, not h3, h4, h5. You would have seen this in one of my previous videos. This is how I like to play against the Tartakower. But he surprised me by playing knight to d7, and then after queen to c2, he played knight to f8, and I'd never seen this move before. The engine actually rates it as the top move. I have seen it before in YouTube videos. It's used as an attacking weapon. So what would normally happen is, say for example, White would play some moves. He say he wants to develop the knight, but he doesn't want to get pinned, so he'll probably play something like h3. The knight comes to g6, say knight to f3, castles, and then once white's castled short, um, the bishop comes to e6, and then the queen comes to d7, and then if I remember rightly, once you've got this a range of pieces, the queen and bishop battery, the bishop, the knight on g6, there's ideas with this sacrifice, where you sacrifice the bishop, come in, take that second pawn, and then with this bishop and knight, there's some checkmate threats. I can't remember exactly, I might have said it wrong, but I know this maneuver of knight to d7, knight to f8, knight to g6 is used for a kingside attack against white when white castle's short. So I have seen the move, never played against it. I just played my normal stuff, which is knight to e2. Um, Black plays queen to c7, making this battery, but there's no threat on this pawn at the moment, so I can just develop a bishop to d2. Even though Black's got two attackers on this pawn, White only has one defender. You might have heard the term poison pawn. Basically, if you've never heard of it, if you capture, what you can do is just trap the bishop in, basically, and that works quite a lot with these corner pawns. There's quite a famous game with Bobby Fischer where he took a poison pawn against Boris Spassky. So, yeah, even masters do it sometimes, but as a beginner, just be careful with those pawns. Um, Bishop to e6, and then I castled long. Again, this pawn's hanging, but again, similar scenario. I spent a lot of time calculating whether black can get away with taking this pawn, and he can't, because once he takes, you don't go b3, that would lose on the spot to bishop to a3. What you do is you block it in with c4, and white can't, the bishops now can't come out. White can't, black can't come to a5 because we're covering that. So what the idea is that we're going to um, play b3 now and pick up that pawn. So you just have to be careful not to play b3 straight away and hang this. Sorry, and not even then. I've just made another blunder. You have to block the bishop first, and then go b3 or b4, whatever the best move was then. Yeah, b3 it likes, and then white's completely winning now. Black's gonna have to cash in for this pawn, and yeah, so just have to be a little bit careful. That's why I spent so much time calculating it, because one wrong move there, if I'd forgotten to play c5 like I just did there, it was tricky. I burnt a lot of time trying to calculate all that. Um, but yeah, I calculated eventually that yeah, black can't get away with taking that, which he didn't. He goes queen to a5, and I'll just push it with a3. Now I've got no worries. The queen goes back, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy out of the opening because I've got castled, I've got all my pieces developed, bar this rook. White still has to make a decision on this knight. He still has to make a decision. Sorry, black has to make a decision which way he's going to put his king. Um, and yeah, if I just put that eval bar back on, you can see there's a nice little advantage for white there, about +1, just purely because of a lead in development. I now played h4, which this isn't a bad move. What my idea is to go h5. I'm wondering if black wants to bring this knight to g6. So I know that pushing to h5 is going to give him some issues at some point. And then the idea as well is I want to develop this rook to h4. It looks a little bit random, but it's not. So yeah, let's just make a move for black. h5 and then rook h4. This I've seen this in master games against the Caro, where white has done this exact thing. He's castled long. He's gone h4, h5, rook h4. It's just a way of yeah, developing the rook helps along this fourth rank. And if black were to castle kingside, you've got a ready-made attack ready to go with this h pawn going up the board and this rook still on the h file. But I'm not convinced it was the best thing to do in this situation because black hasn't committed yet. Um, you know, maybe in those master games, black has already committed kingside. I can't remember. But I think with black still having his king in the middle and it's still not decided yet where he's going, I think I would be much better off to play in the centre. So I kind of had a feeling black wanted to play b5 next, which black did. So after I played h4, he played b5. So c4 would have been a good move here. Just playing in the centre. You know, maybe this is going to come in at some point, but it's just taking more space here. And what it does is it helps prevent b5 because black can't play b5 because you can just chop. There's a pin here. So this would have been a multi-purpose move, just expanding in the centre and preventing b5. I did look at it, but just I think because the pawn was in front of my king, I just didn't feel safe doing it. But I believe it's the best move. Also, there's f4. So yeah, any of these two moves, c4, f4. You know, I think I quite like the idea of c4 stopping b5, and then once white, that's going to put a decision on white rather than him just going, okay, I'm going to attack. He's going to have to make a decision now, and you know, once he does, let's say he brings the knight back into d7, I can then go f4, just taking more central space. This looks really good. Yeah, you can see there's a nice advantage for white there. But no, I didn't. I decided to. I still thought he was going to castle. I still thought he wanted to go knight g6 and castle short, which is why I was a bit intent on this h4 h5 move. And I wanted to bring my knight into f4, and I was thinking, okay, how can I add more support to that square? I didn't want to play g3, so I thought, okay, h4 h5, rook h4. It then backs up this square. I'm going to go knight to f4, but unfortunately that's a bit slow, and I never got the chance to do that. Black played b5, which I figured he may do, but I wasn't too worried about it. I thought, yeah, b5, a5. I'm not too worried about that. You know, I can deal with it okay. I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. h5, a5, rook h4, and the rook is also now defending along this rank. So even though it looks a bit of a random move, actually it's helping defensively as well, which I was thinking about at the time. Rook h to e1 was the best. Again, playing in the centre. I should have played in the centre. That was, I think, a big lesson in this. You know, when your opponents, it's beginner stuff, really. You know, you're taught when you know play in the centre, especially if your opponent hasn't committed. If he'd committed to castle and kingside, then yeah, you know you can warrant playing like this. But when his king's still in the middle, I think you have to just play in the centre. Um, so yeah, I played rook to h4, and my instinct to not worry about his attack and to carry on with this h4, h5, rook h4 was correct. The engine likes it. If I just stick the eval bar on again, it's plus 1.5 for me, but I have to find the key move, which is d5. And what d5 does is, obviously, it comes with tempo hitting this bishop, and once he takes, I can take here, and it's backed up by my rook now. So even if he was to carry on trading, my rook comes in, and now I'm really active, got a really good position. But unfortunately, I didn't find d5. I traded here, takes. I win a pawn, but now they're all messed up, which again I wasn't worried about. I still figured this was better for me, which is correct, I believe. Again, white has a slight advantage, just over +1. So yeah, so far everything I'd felt, all the moves I played, and all my thoughts and feelings were all correct, all validated. I hadn't done anything bad. maybe not done everything as best as I could, but I'd played a nice game. The problem is I had been burning too much time up. Yeah, there's going to be some old problems, uh, some consistent problems resurfacing in this game. I played bishop to e4. I wanted to just trade this bishop. I mean, I'm threatening to take the bishop because if he takes back, there's a pin. So I figured it's going to force him to do something, which he does. He steps out the pin. I trade. I want to get pieces off. Um, I play queen to b3, just protecting this and attacking that. Knight to e6. Black wants to obviously get castled, and then he's going to start targeting my weaknesses. Knight to c3 and castles. And yeah, like I said, I have a nice position. I believe a slight advantage. I'm a pawn up. I've got this passed pawn. But the problem is, I believe at this moment in time, I was down to about 4 minutes, which is embarrassing considering it's a 70-minute game. So we get an hour and 10 minutes plus an increment. And on move 22, I'm down to 4 minutes. So yeah, um, a consistent problem, which I spoke about in my last video. I start games well, I play decent, but I just burn too much time up. And yeah, the same problem again. I'm starting to panic about the clock, and I get greedy, and I play knight takes d5, grabbing the second pawn, which is what turns the whole position on its head and goes from a white advantage to a fairly big black advantage, because black finds the best move, which is to check me and trade, which forces my king onto the d file, and then the rook comes over onto the d file, where it's attacking my knight, and also once my knight moves, it's attacking this pawn with check, and now I'm in real trouble. My opponent's played it really nicely, um, jumped on my mistake, and yeah, now I'm just in huge trouble. I'm down to a few minutes. I'm gonna lose this pawn. I'm gonna lose this pawn. Knight takes. I'm now in a discovered check, attacking my queen. So I just sack the exchange. The king comes up. Black grabs the second pawn, and I actually had lost track of my moves at this moment because, yeah, obviously I was fuming and I only had a couple of minutes left, and I wasn't writing my moves down properly. I believed I was at the time, but when I looked back at my score sheet, I was missing moves off and stuff. So the game did carry on. I moved my queen. I think he grabbed this pawn. He traded the queens off, and yeah, it was an easy win for black. As quick as that, the game turned on its head, um, because simply the same old thing of just really, really poor time management. And yeah, um, but my opponent played a nice game, and I have to get down to the root. It's okay, just keep saying over and over again, I draw and lose games because of time management, but you have to get down to the root cause of why you're using so much time up. And yeah, I believe I was having a chat with my coach, and there's a couple of things. I think I'm trying too hard to find the best move rather than just playing a good move. Um, a lack of knowing what to do in the opening. I need to study more master games in the specific openings that I play to understand the regular patterns and plans that emerge from those games, to familiarize myself with them. So yeah, I just need to get down to the root cause. Got some work to do. I need to grind and fix this time management issue. And I think once I can fix that, I really do believe that I'm going to make a big jump, because, you know, in terms of playing chess, I can match these guys who are rated 1 or 200 points above me, as I've shown, but it just takes me a lot longer, and which eventually loses me the game. Um, but yeah, I mean, on my online chess is going well. I've been playing on chess.com a lot lately. I'm at my peak rapid rating, my peak puzzle rating, so things are going well. I'm just struggling over the board, which is where I mainly want to focus. What's predominantly important for me, is over the board chess rather than online. So yeah, there's just a bit of a maybe a lack of confidence, psychological issue. Just need to get down to the root causes of what's causing me to burn all my time up and get myself in these sticky situations, where I throw away results that I should be getting draws or wins, and and they're becoming draws and losses instead. So yeah, got a lot of work to do. In a bit of a bad run of form, but hopefully I can turn it round. I've got a tournament next, a 3-day tournament in Doncaster over the weekend, and yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can pull something out of the bag. And stay tuned. Thanks for watching as always. Thank you very much.